Bienvenidas a Super Mamás.
Super Mamás!
This is Paulina.
And this is Bricia.
And this week in our podcast, we have an amazing guest. She's way beyond more than just a super mama. She is a single mom.
Single mamas, my respects to all of you guys out there because it is tough, not just being a mom, but being a single mom. And Melina, one of my dearest friends, is here in her studio today, and she's going to share with all of you guys her story and her journey of being not just a single mom, but the best mom she could be.
Yeah.
So I hope you guys really enjoy the show.
I'm sure you will. Okay, listas?
Here we go. Hello, everybody.
Hi.
We're back again.
We're at it again.
Actually, I pressed record earlier, and I didn't really press record, so my sister and I have been talking to ourselves.
I mean, what's new with that? Actually talking to ourselves.
Or to her. I guess, you know what? So funny. The other day, my friend who is not a mom told me she went to a meeting with this lady who was a mom, right? For the first time. And she was like, Bricia, I came back, and I know this lady's entire life. Like, she showed me a picture of this potty she has in the back of her seat. And I'm like, oh my God. I'm like, you know what? That's normal. That's the way I am.
No, and you know what? I feel like we just don't have anybody to talk to. Seriously, I went the other day for a walk, and I met this lady, like, that lives, like, a couple, houses down my house. I never met this lady before, ever. And she, like, was like, hi, how are you, blah, 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 blah. She told me her whole life, everything, the struggles that she's been going through with the kids. Like, Jesucristo Santo, mi hijo no come. Like, I was just like, okay, We just don't have anybody to talk to.
But, or I guess when you see another mom, all you just want to do is like, oh my God, so this is what happens. This is what's going on. And blah, 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 right?
I mean, I guess, you just want somebody to, like, relate.
You just want to feel like you're not alone.
Yes.
But anyway, and that's what, ladies, you are not alone. We are here, and we're going to listen to you. I will listen to you. Okay?
Yeah, actually, I put a post about the book that I was reading, and somebody replied and told me that they were going through the same thing. And I was like, hallelujah, I'm not alone.
I'm not alone.
Okay,
How was your weekend?
It was good. Things are looking okay with the kids. Krista is, I'm just, winging it.
With Krista. I saw her this weekend, obviously. We went out to eat as a family because mom and dad are back. And I saw her, and I was like, wow, she's really, like, you're right. She's really regressing. Like, she's acting like a
baby.
Yeah, like a year and a half.
She's always.
Mom was really worried, by the way.
Mom, oh my God, no, oh my God, Liz, I don't even. For the first moment she saw her, because she usually goes and hugs mom. She's like, grandma. She didn't want to go with mom. She didn't. Mom was like, something's wrong with her. She needs to go to the psychologist or something. Something is wrong with her. And I was like, yeah, mom, she's regressing, and but mom, she gets so worried about her. I mean, I guess, right? I mean, I saw her and I was like, wow. I mean, I just ignore her. Not ignore her, but I mean, I try to engage with her, and if she doesn't respond to me, I don't like force it. Yeah. I don't know if that's the right way to approach her or not. But I do give her attention. She's been hiding behind me a lot. When she saw Eduardo, my husband Eduardo, when she saw Eduardo yesterday, she just like hid, and she did not want to look at him. And I know. It's like, weird. It's weird. I don't know. I mean, I hope it's just a stage. I think it's a stage. I'm sure it is. I think it's Sabina, the new baby. Yeah. And then she's been telling me, like, Mom, look at me, pay attention, listen to me. So, I mean, she's really demanding attention. I think that's what she wants. She wants attention, and we've just been giving it to her a lot lately. Like, my husband and I have been just really, 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 like, be mindful about giving her attention whenever she asks for it. So, it's been working, It's been good. Last night, she slept a lot, and she woke up in a really good mood. So, I'm wondering, too, if she needs more sleep. I don't know. Like, I'm just trying to answer everybody needs more questions. Sleep. That is a fact. Yeah. I don't know. Like, she's just... How many hours does she usually sleep? She usually sleeps about 9 to 10 hours, but I heard somewhere that I have to sleep for 12 hours.
Oh, I wish I could sleep for 12 hours.
I wish I could sleep. Yeah, so I don't know. I mean, so I'm gonna try that. Also, like I want to put her to sleep a little earlier, but the thing with the sun being up and she doesn't want to go to sleep until it's
Maybe you
late.
should reapproach that and not look at the sun. Maybe like at a clock, like once the clock hits that, it's time to go to bed, and like not bring in the sun into the mix because the sun's still out. Or
I don't know. And also the thing with the sleeping is like, because I always feel like I don't see her enough. Like, oh, I should spend a little bit more time. Like, it's hard for me to send her to sleep like early, because I feel like,
but that's for you. You're doing that for you, and you have to think about it for her.
I guess I have to think about her, mommy.
I guess.
I guess. But what about me? What about what I want?
What about I want to hug her?
I want to hug her.
She'll get better though.
Yeah, no, Yeah.
I know she will. I was just, but I saw what you meant. Like I was like, oh, that's what she was. That's what it.
I'm not exaggerating. Like it was like she's like a baby again.
I mean, you exaggerate about everything, so it's hard for me to believe you sometimes because I'm like, whatever she's. What you said was attendance like a 4. So there were hundreds of things. There's like 2 things. That's just the way you are.
No, but now it's funny because now we have to like carry her. Like she wants to be carried. She wants to be like held.
If somebody out there has gone through anything like this, please help us. Help my sister.
Well, Mom was telling us about you.
Oh, I was bad though.
Yeah. When Fernando was born.
When my brother was born, I was 3 years old and I just stopped eating.
Mm-hmm.
But when I was born and you were 3, you were fine. I mean, you like shit on your pants once.
Once in a while.
Once in a while, I'd be like, Mama, popo, me hice popo. And then, like, you totally regress that.
I regressed on the potty training.
On the potty training. But me, I took it to a whole other level.
Yeah, you were anorexic.
I became anorexic for like a year. I would just not eat. And I told Mom, well, that's just because I was like super consentida. When I was like 3, I was like, daddy's little girl. And then the boy came and it was like, Bricia, who? So, and I was really, I turned out okay. They didn't take me to a psychologist. I was fine.
Yeah, you did. And then Mom, did I tell you what she told me? She was like, I think you should just have another baby.
Oh, yeah.
She was, I think you need to have another baby. Because that way, Krista will be over it. And then Sabina will be the one. I was
like, Sabina will regress. Like, what?
Well, actually, last night I was talking to my husband about that. I was like, are
another
we gonna
baby?
have another baby? Like, what are we gonna do? Like,
I was talking to my husband about the exact same thing last night.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I was like, should we? Like, if we're going to, let's just do it, because it's true. Like, it's gonna be hard, but I don't want to wait until she's 3 and then the whole thing. I think like maybe.
But then, like Krista will be sick. She can take care of Sabina, and you can just take care of the baby.
No, I don't know. So we're talking about it. We'll see. I don't know. It's
kind
of scary.
Woo!
It's scary.
Would you guys practice or what?
I mean, we practice a lot. We should definitely have an episode on like sex after babies.
Yeah, not right now though. I'm not prepared for that.
Not today, but we should. I think we should. I think like that just gets you back to normal, like to your own self, kind of.
I mean, you're never really back to your like old self, but
maybe getting your body back. I mean, I think like that's what maybe to me, I think that's what it was. Like I'm gaining my body a little bit back. A little bit.
A little bit. What's left of my body, man? I'm like, me estoy muriendo. I'm so skinny, and like, it's just I think I just over pump or over breastfeed. I don't know what I do. And
you've always been skinny.
I know, but me estoy pasando. This is not even like purposely. Like I'm not purposely looking like this. I don't want to look like this. I'm not like.
And
going out,
and everybody's like, Bricia, you're so skinny.
And I'm like, yeah, you're trying to tell me I look like I'm about to die because that's how I feel. And you know what? This past weekend, like I felt like I had no energy. I mean, like zero energy. And I'm sleeping okay. But what I realized was I finished my prenatals and I hadn't ordered any. And I was like, what is wrong with me? Like, what is it? What is it? Like, what's going on? And then even my husband, he got so worried. He's like, sweetheart, like, what's happening? I came home the other day and I just like crashed out. I slept for like 2 hours in the middle of the day, which I never do. And then he was just, and I was like, I think it's because I haven't taken my vitamins. And he was like, I'm going to the store right now. So he like left and rushed to Whole Foods and bought my vitamins. And so hopefully I start feeling better. I just feel like I'm like, they really suck the life out of you. Like, yes, you're sucking every part of me.
Sometimes I feel like my teeth are like moving. I feel like my teeth are moving. My joints hurt.
My joints hurt too. My back hurt. Like the other day. Okay, the other day I sneezed and I swear I felt like I was on a break. Like I the back. And I pee. Oh, I did that too. The other day I was, oh my God, I was changing my baby and I sneezed and I peed. And then I was like, and I went to the bathroom and I was like, no, but that was like real piss.
Yes.
Like it left a stain on my pants.
You know what? I used to be embarrassed of doing this, but I don't care anymore. Like every time I'm going to pee, I stop and I cross my legs.
You mean when you're gonna laugh? When you're gonna sneeze? You mean?
No, yeah. When I sneeze, when I sneeze, like I don't care where I am. I don't care who's there. If I'm gonna sneeze, I'm gonna cross my legs because I'd rather do that and not like pee on myself. And it's horrible because you can't do it. Like I actually I have a schedule of going to the bathroom because I cannot wait until my bladder is full. I can't. You know what? It's funny because before, like way back.
Now I want to laugh so hard I'm gonna pee.
No, because Mom, she used to go to the bathroom a lot. Remember, like a lot. Like I was like, again, Mom, for real? You're going to the bathroom?
And I'm like, I've had 4 kids.
Yeah, and now I'm just like, I have to go to the bathroom. I need to go to the bathroom. I need to like. Every hour and a half, I have to go to the bathroom.
Oh, my God. Anyway, with that in mind, you guys, we have a great guest today. And we are going to talk about a very important issue. It's something that a lot of you guys have been requesting. And my girlfriend, Melina, is here to talk about something that's not as funny as peeing in your pants, but very serious. Single moms.
Single moms.
My girlfriend is a single mom. She is not just a single mom, but she's like a girl boss too. I mean, she is a working girl. She's a producer, director for music, entertainment, TV. She's really put a lot of groundbreaking regional Mexican stars on the map. Mm-hmm. She made that happen. So she's an incredible girl. She's going to be here in the studio in a little bit. And to all your single moms out there, man, Jesus Christ.
Hey.
You guys deserve like a day of your own.
Yes.
I told her this and I was like, single moms need a single mom's day. Like, forget Mother's Day. You guys need single Mother's Day.
Yeah, well, they have it. They have two. They have Mother and Father's Day.
So they should have 3. They should have Mother's Day, Father's Day, and Single Mom's Day. Because, dang.
I don't know how they do it, man.
She's going to tell us how she did it. Big ups to single moms. And we come back, we're going to have Melina here.
Stay tuned.
Stay tuned, girls. Salud. Welcome to our studio.
I know. Excited.
And thank you for coming here.
Hello, everybody.
Sorry, I always do that.
Like that, Bricia drinking again.
That's me enjoying my michelada. Hi, Melina.
Hi.
Thank you for coming.
Oh, well, thank you for having me. It's a pleasure.
Of course. We've been trying to do this for a long time. I mean, not for a long time. We're on 6 episodes in, right? But the subject of single moms has been like on our head since day one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like on the first podcast we recorded, I was like, dude, single moms need like their own day. Like a single, there's like Mother's Day. And it used to be like a single Mother's Day.
We need something, a logo maybe. I don't know. We need a little something, a little love.
I love something like that. It's almost like single mom walking so people can understand you, right?
Yeah.
So
how do you do it? Like it's so hard, right? Like I for me it's so hard. Like for having my husband, having all this help, it's so hard, so exhausting, so overwhelming. Like I can't even imagine what it's like.
I think you have to just, I mean, the one thing I always think of when I'm in public, especially, is I'm dealing with the tantrum. I'm dealing with the struggle. I'm dealing with the crying or whatever it was that I was dealing with. And even now, I have to just laugh or make fun of it or just make, it's like you become almost like blind to what people are looking at you. And one time I was walking and she threw herself on the floor because, this is what happens.
It happens.
And it wasn't she tripped. And I said, I'm sorry, she's drunk, and I'm
Let me hold
thinking,
your hair.
Yeah, I was thinking, hold on, and it's really similar to that same thing. So it's like I take a lot from my past and I just integrate it into being a mother as like, well,
That's
she's
a
just a
good
little
one.
shorter and, she doesn't have a license, but it's the same thing,
She's still embarrassing me.
Yes, exactly.
Like that kid, like outside right now, doing
Yeah.
a tantrum.
And you don't know. It could be a single mom.
Yeah.
It could be a grandma. It could be a whole family that's just ignoring the kid. And at some point, you do kind of ignore your children when they go into psycho mode. But then you love them and you're like, oh, I can't live without you. And so it's a weird relationship that you develop over time. But I mean, B, you've known me so long.
Yeah.
And I think what the great thing is she's amazing. She has actually been the best and most I think honor of being a mother is what you realize it is. And when I was pregnant with my daughter, there was a real just overwhelming feeling of responsibility and saying, this has less to do about me. This is not my experience. This is more a gift of, this kid is coming into the world and I'm preparing her. And when you think of it like that, it's like, oh, it blows your mind. Because everything you do wrong then becomes a mirrored image in her,
Right.
And I don't know that that's different for a mother that has a father as support in the household or for a father that's, a co-parent or for a father that's absent.
Yeah.
I think every woman kind of goes through that.
So what was your experience like? Explain to everybody your story.
Tell us a little bit about her story.
How did you find out you were pregnant?
Well, let's birds and bees this. Valentina's father and I were engaged at one time. And, just like your mother says, rebounds are great, right? So we had just a little relationship that started back up years after our engagement. And right as we were kind of in a whirlwind of maybe not figuring it out, I realized I was pregnant. But, looking at that pregnancy test, I don't think it was any different than if I was 16, if I was 40, or if I was 28. You are just, what is happening right now?
Freak out.
Yeah, and there was a moment of silence that I had just by myself because I was the only one that knew at that moment in the world. And it just flashed in my head. Instinctively, I knew she was a girl. I knew this was going to be hard. And I did know that I was going to end up being a single mother. And I just had to kind of accept that because I had a great job. I had established a career at that point. There wasn't any reason other than my own vulnerabilities and insecurities to not go forth with this. And it wasn't going to be traditional. And I just had to accept that. And so then after, I was still with her father during our relationship in the pregnancy. We were still established. And then early on in 8 weeks of her life, we split. And that was a lot of trauma for me and for her, I think, too, just having this, emptiness in our household.
Were you guys living together those 8 weeks, or were you somewhere else?
We were living separate, but he was living. You know how it is as a newborn. You have to have a parent or somebody around you in the first couple of weeks because you're not sleeping. It's just it's nuts.
That's why I asked. Was he with you those couple weeks?
Yeah, he was supportive in that time period, but we. And I'm going to go back to this. I think any relationship, that's where you get tested.
Oh, yeah.
That's where you know, do we have a foundation for forever or are we cracking and breaking right now?
Amen.
And we were in earthquake mode. The thing was coming down. It was Northridge. And it was like, this is not going to work because it's such a stressful environment. And it was sad. but I knew it was going to come. And it was also very emotional for him and for me, because then it became the reality of, well, how are we going to do this? Because he wants to have his daughter.
Of course.
And I don't want to be separated from my daughter at this point, because you're completely bonded. You're her food source.
Yeah.
So you have that of him.
Exactly. I just carried you. I'm still bleeding for you. I'm like, hello, the sacrifices happened.
Yeah.
And it was difficult. It was really sad. It was a really hard time for me. And it was probably like the second birth. It was the second labor of a new life at that point. So I think we've come a long way.
Yeah.
I'm a single mom. And that doesn't mean that he wrote her off. That just means that I have to parent by myself on most fronts. And
But he's still in her life.
And that was really important to me. Because I'm also the product of a single mom. And, my parents' relationship was really the blueprint to what I was hoping to change. And so I think most of the things that you go through come from like what you're trying not to do, and then when you end up being in similar situations, you put a lot more judgment on yourself as like I failed, when the reality is you have the opportunity to change it.
Yeah.
But
I mean, you judge yourself regardless. Like, I think we always talk about this at some point in our show, like about all the judgment that you put in, all the pressure and all the guilt and all the feelings that. I don't know if dads go through that. Do you guys think guys go through that? I mean, because we just put so much pressure on ourselves to like be the best that we can at all times, and then when we never feel like we're good enough, we're never good enough mothers. We're good enough, So I don't know. Do you guys think like guys go through that? Like, do you think he was going through that at the same time in his head? Like, oh, I failed as a parent, as a father. Like, you know what I mean?
I feel like their emotional connection starts developing throughout their lives, and that's when it's like I've lost that, or I've gained this, and you get achievements that they're falling in love with their children from birth and into their lifetime. We fell in love with them from the idea of them many times,
or
and feeling them
stomach.
inside. They don't know what that's like, or just saying, okay, I love you so much that it's okay that my boobs are gonna move and
down.
Thank you for stepping on my liver.
Move down.
Yes. And no, it's okay. My rib cage doesn't need to be back to where it was.
I don't.
My bladder can be.
It's okay that my bladder did that.
Right.
So, walk me through like a day. I mean, a day of your life in the morning with your daughter being alone.
Valentina's 5 now. So I've kept her alive. This is good.
So I'm winning.
This is winning. And it kind of went through stages where, like, the newborn stage, you're just like, I need to keep you're breathing, you're fed, you're changed. I won. I did it. And then the toddler stage, that the minute they start moving, that was scary, because in the morning it became a situation of like, is she loose? Or do I still have her corralled? And you're like, ay, Dios mío, what am I going to do? Like with this kid. And then when she got to school age or preschool age, because I mean, being a career-driven person prior to having Valentina, it was always like any moment's notice, I'm either on the field, working, producing, traveling, or in an edit. So I had a very unscheduled and very crazy lifestyle already.
How did you manage to do that and have a child at the same time?
I have to say that it was a lot of adjustment and figuring out what my priority was, because it became less about having a career and more about what I could provide.
Yeah.
The passion for doing things in my work was fueled by, would my daughter be proud of me? And I think for any woman that becomes a mother, your goals and your motivations change, but you still have a drive.
Talking to a couple of girls earlier that are single moms too, they were expressing that concern, like, how do I keep working on myself without just leaving her too long, like without just not giving her attention, because when she grows up, I want her to still feel proud of me and proud of all the accomplishments that I make. And it's so hard, only
Right.
being by myself, like, leaving her most of the day. Like, I feel guilty for leaving, like, again, going back to the guilt and the
Right.
guilt. So, like, like, how did you manage to still, you still had a career and you were
Yeah.
still working towards a goal that you had personally, but you were still trying to attend to, how did you balance that?
When she was 3 months old when I had to go back to work. And I remember when I came back to the office, people were like, "Why are you all made up?" Or like every day, how did you get ready in the morning? Or and don't you have a baby? And I thought to myself, well, it's important that people know that I keep going, and and even as Valentina grows up, I want my daughter to always know that you take care of yourself. You take pride in who you are, and you don't lose that. And even if inside I was feeling a little less than, I think that by continuing to have certain rituals that were always just me, helped me get through those periods of time because I was alone. I didn't have someone to motivate me to get up tomorrow. So the only thing that was motivating for me was, I got to get ready and I got to get her ready. And if we both get ready, then we're ready to do this. And and she's always noticed that. And that's part of also, I think, when you raise a girl and you're a mother, you are a reflection of what she will become in some capacity. If your mother was very much about her presence or her look, you will always have that inside of you. You may not look exactly like her. You may not dress exactly like her.
Yeah.
Hopefully not some of us, right? Right? But you have a sense of awareness of it's important to have an identity.
Yeah.
Because single family homes, you have to give your children more tools. And that's an important part of it. So a lot of times what I would do, and just going back to that period of time, when she was able to be in a car seat and a playpen, I would drop her off in the morning because I worked a pretty consistent schedule during the week. And I would drop her off in the morning
Daycare?
to daycare. And it was important for both of us, her father and I, to have somebody that cared for her in a very that spoke Spanish, that had a sense of raising someone at that point, that if my grandmother or my mother could raise her, distance didn't allow that. But we wanted that essence.
Yeah, yeah.
There was something that I had when I was little that I remember feeling that comfort.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know, and
That home feeling.
something about the home cooking, something about we didn't want her in a very sterile environment where it was so structured that you felt like they were just kind of like a factory
Yeah,
of
yeah.
keeping the kids, clean, washed, and healthy. That's fine, and I think that's okay for some people. But I think, again, her father was influential in keeping culture alive just as much as I am, and that's part of who she is. So I would pick her up around 5 or 6 o'clock, and I usually would have to go back to the office for edits or
wow.
to write or do anything. And my brain is always better at night, so I would get more creative during that time. So we were able to balance it a little bit in our home when she was going through those stages of bottle and formula or simple things. And I would take pictures of her when I was in my work environment because I wanted her to see that she always grew up with a working mom.
So you took her with you?
Yeah, I would
Oh,
take her
that's
with
really
me,
cool.
and my editors would always know, or my assistants, or people that were working with us in the production, always knew her from every stage of life. That she had, because they would see her, she was newborn or a couple times late at night, and then 2 months later it would just happen that they'd be in the office again, and oh my gosh, she's grown so much. and she would take pride in that because it's like she has so many friends.
Yeah.
She actually knew more people at 6 months than I knew. From both sides, because when she would go with her father, I don't know who she knows. I don't know what she's experiencing. She has this great lifestyle. Like if she had an Instagram at that point, like
She was blowing up.
Yeah.
right? So
You're the coolest 6-month-old.
right, taking over the internet.
That's cool. That's so cool.
But it's the balance, and even now, she's 5. I had an edit last week, and I took her, and she was so excited. Now that she has her own personality. She's very strong-willed. She has her own thoughts, and she can express herself. She tells me, "Mommy, I'm just so excited that you're going to take me to your works. Am I gonna see you direct? Are you gonna like sit in a director's chair? I was like, girl, this ain't the movies, like let's not. But I was like, let me just take her in. 45 minutes in, she's like on the lead pad. When are we gonna have lunch? Like, when are we leaving? Like, this is over. But it's important, I think, for you to bring your kids to your work, to have them see who you are and what you do to provide, and explaining that part of it as like, I do this so that we can have a home, or that we can do. They get a pride in that.
Yeah. My daughter tells me like sometimes like she puts on like a bunch of like
bags.
A bunch of bags. I carry a bunch of bags with me. I don't
She's
know
the bag lady.
I carry, and then she's like, "Mommy, I'm leaving. I'm going to the restaurant." Like, and then, or like we drive by because we live close, and she's like, "Oh, look, there's Mommy's restaurant." Like
mandado. She's like busy.
Or like during the when she doesn't have school, I bring her, and she like, I'm like, "What are you gonna do today?" And she's like, "Oh, I'm gonna clean," and then so that she cleans, and
or she moves boxes.
She moves boxes.
Empty
she sweeps. She loves like, this is what I am. So you're right, and they have to be part of it. They have to be just part of you, because this is you. Yeah, that's
Melina,
good.
did you ever feel guilty, like, and say to yourself, like, I should have stayed with her father for her?
No, because I think we are better people apart. I think I would have been lost in a relationship just trying to conform to the idea of what society wants you to do. And my parents divorced when I was very young. But I lived in a lot of chapters of having, step parents, or seeing that, when people are unhappy in a marriage, or things don't work out, it affects so many people. You have families that are combined and then ripped apart, and it's like, how do you fix that? And if you can make that decision early on that you're just not going to work, but you are going to work to be great parents to your children, how much time and energy do you save? And then also just emotional distress for your kids.
I think his kids know what's going on.
We always know. I'm super nosy. I was all up on it when I was a kid. Like, I knew what was going down. I was, and that's funny that, my daughter is the same way. I don't know how that happened, but you just kind of like.
Because you become your mom.
I
am my mom right now.
Yeah.
Have you ever read that thing that says, like, I open my mouth and my mother comes out? It's like, that's true.
Yeah, completely.
Yeah.
Well, you're the combination of all the women that really affected you.
Yeah.
You really
because I do have, and I think we all know a lot of single moms.
Yeah.
Especially Latina moms.
Right.
there's a lot of Latina single moms out there. And that was, and I also know one of my girlfriends was, she's in a process of leaving her husband.
Right.
And she's like, I don't want to do it because of my baby. I'm afraid of being a single mom. Like, that's not what I wanted to do. And I think you do become this whole idea of like having a perfect home. Like, daddy comes home from work, mommy's home, like kiss goodnight, the baby goes to bed, and everything's like happy. I think like those things get so shoved down your brain that, again, as a woman, you want to protect that and want to give that to your family.
You want to know that you're doing the best. But at the same time, you have to get out of your own way. Many times we don't admit to ourselves that we're stronger. I go through that all my life, every chapter. I don't need my daughter to know every time I'm falling apart, but I do need her to know that I'm going to get through it. And that strength only comes from keeping the ball rolling. And when you make a decision because you're scared of the outcome, you're probably making the wrong decision if you stay with what's safe.
Yeah.
And down the line, it does have repercussions. And for many Latinas, I think you get stuck in the sense that I'm not good enough, I'm not educated enough, I can't make as much money as he can. But
you can.
And or you can learn how to separate the emotional from what the goal is, and the goal is to raise that child. And I'll give you one tip that helped us, and it was hard. We did go to court around the time that she was about 4 months, and he was very angry with me, and I was very angry with him, and that was a hard process.
Yeah.
Because we had to admit to each other that we failed at something. But what we were going to gain out of that was huge. And you need someone to mediate and get in there and just look at things clearly, because your emotions take over.
Impartial.
Yes.
Yeah. So you can't decide how many hours you're going to spend with each other in switching, or you can't decide how much money is going to go to taking care of the child, because the father will have feelings against the mother and the mother will have feelings against the father, and that conflict allows for the child to not go with what their needs are. And she did need to have time with her father, but he did need to provide.
Mm-hmm.
And the court laid that out. And it is a very hard process. And it is not always in favor of the mother. That's a misconception.
Oh.
Because you have to look at it as they're looking at black and white paperwork.
Mm-hmm.
They don't care what he did, what he called you, what he put on Instagram or Facebook.
Yeah.
They don't care what you did to this or that, or what you said, or how you're telling them. You have to put yourself in check, because at the end of the day, especially with social media, those things live forever.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and that antagonizing each other, it could go on for years. And it's a struggle. It's a struggle to find a communication. I think even in married relationships,
Yeah.
it's a
Yeah.
difficult thing to find balance. But man, if you could just let it go, if you can forgive down the line and see that you're just going to get better off. I always say to people that are in my life that have gone through a similar experience, go to court. And not because you're trying to get up on him, but because you're trying to see things clear.
Yeah.
And I think he appreciates that now. I hope he does. I appreciate it, because there's no arguments. That's what it is. It's the decision that was made by a court, and as long as we continue to do that,
A mediator.
a
like,
mediator,
someone
yeah.
without-
And as you go along, maybe you develop that relationship and you're able to do that. We've gotten to a point where it sometimes works and sometimes it's a conflict, but you know, she's 5. We still have a long way to go.
Yeah.
And if she wants to hang out with me her whole life, that's even longer. You know, like I just got to the 18 girl and the rest
Later.
yeah.
Send me my checks.
Right.
I find that also, like in our culture, the Latino culture, like a family has a lot of a lot to do with
Yeah.
the decisions. You know, like I think like, I have a really close friend that she split up with the father of her kids, but her mom is always like, you should go back with him. You know, the kids need him, and like she feels a lot of pressure. Like
Yeah.
I think, you know, us Latinos are so like family
Yeah.
grounded.
Without a man,
you
you
know what I
can't
mean?
do it.
You know, like, oh,
Maybe
the family is so
sometimes.
important. Like, what does the family think? What does the family say? And like, I think a lot
Very
of
true.
a lot
Right.
of the times, like when she tells me, like, she's like, I don't know, my mom always tells me that I should go back. And I'm like, your mom doesn't live with you. Like, your mom doesn't live with the kids. But you know, that's just me saying. But you
Yeah.
know, I understand like that has a lot to do with it too. Like, the family's like, oh, pero qué va a decir la abuelita? ¿Qué va a decir la
Sí.
tía? You know what I mean? Like,
Sí.
what are they gonna say? Like, it's all about what other people are gonna say. A lot of it in our culture, and I think a lot of the times that's why a lot of girls put up with it. You know, because you don't. What are they gonna think? What are they gonna say? You know what I mean?
I think one thing that I always felt maybe judgment was, oh, well, she just wants to have a lot of boyfriends, or she did, you know, maybe, and maybe I was just perceiving that, but that maybe is something that people label single mothers as they want, you know, more freedom.
Mm-hmm.
And what's wrong with freedom? One, but two, as a mother, when do you have time for that?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Girl, I can't get a moment, you know?
What
So
does
how
that
do you
even look
date?
like?
How is that? Like, I mean,
Well, you know,
I know you have a man right now.
I have a great boyfriend, and I had a few ground rules, I think, in my brain, but for the most part, the first 2 years of her life were all her. There was no interest in having a relationship, because I also felt like, well, no one is going to be good enough for her.
Mm-hmm.
I had a lot of reservations of trying to introduce anybody in her life. I was social, but I had a great group of girlfriends. So I didn't miss anything about my time in my life. You know, I felt like I was right on post what was supposed to be happening for me, and nothing was lacking. But there got to a point where I thought, right after 30, because that's when you start thinking.
Yes. What am I doing with
Am
that?
I gonna be alone? Am I gonna just have my daughter and then raise her and then be cat lady? I don't like cats. I might have been lizard lady or
Then I
perro
don't like
lady.
cats, so what's
I'm
gonna
not a
happen?
big cat person, but yeah, it was like, or I didn't have that part of my life figured out enough to say like, okay, am I doing something towards that? And then I thought, you know what? When I'm ready, it'll happen.
Mm-hmm.
And through my other single mom friends who actually were married at the time when I had my child, and then they became single moms, I helped with their struggles in getting through those points because they were married for many years, and then that was difficult to see. How do you live by yourself?
Mm-hmm.
How do you feel comfortable in your own skin,
That's hard.
in your own faja?
That's hard. Yeah.
Several fajas.
Several fajas. How do you feel? Okay. And there's a lot of freedoms in that too, because it's like I don't have to worry. I can go out, have a good time, and I go home and I take care of my baby girl, and nobody's in my business, and I'm still young. But oddly enough, and I'm going to tell this story, and this is very, opening up the internet. Latinas, open up the internet, not just for yourself, but for, good things. Don't catfish anybody, but think of it as, a forum of creating a social network with people that you don't have to get too involved in or made up in to go out. And my best friend had texted me years ago and said, "Oh my God, there's this thing called Tinder."
Oh my God.
And I was all, "Girl, what are
Tinder
you talking
game.
about?" And she's all, "No, sign up right now. If you don't do it, I don't do it." And I was like, "Ugh." And I was like, "Okay, fine, I'll do it." And I did it, and it was like a game. It was like I experienced Candy Crush for the first time, where it was like 24 hours of swiping, bam, 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 bam,
Yes,
bam.
no.
Yeah,
Yes.
and it was like match. It was like ding, 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 ding. So my friend's like giving me this. Do you like it? I haven't met anybody. And I got to the point of like it was annoying at I was like, what is this? A bunch of vultures that can't spell?
I never seen it.
The grammar was atrocious. I was like, oh, I can't even deal with this.
That's like the equivalent of showing up smelling like BO.
Right.
Like,
right.
I'm not going to date you. You don't know how to shower.
You
Like,
don't know what
you
your
don't
to
know
use. It's like you have bad breath. I can't deal with you right now. So
It's you and you are. Get that shit right.
So I just happened to meet somebody that I swiped very quickly because, again, I was in Candy Crush mode. Fast, 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 fast. How many points can I get? And we started to go back and forth, and he was funny. And I was like, okay, this is not bad.
Number one, they gotta be funny.
They gotta be funny.
gotta be
Ask
funny.
good questions. We weren't cousins, so it worked out. So I ended up telling him 24 hours into this app, I'm like, I'm over it. I said, listen, if you want to keep talking to me, let's text. Cool. We started texting, and that was a week of my birthday.
Ooh.
And I thought, I got to test this guy enough to see if he's real. Why don't you call me? Because, that's old school.
Oh, yeah. It's
Let's
hard
try-
nowadays. I
right?
hear. I'm married.
Yeah. Well, I thought, let's go to the golden age of junior high when you'd be on the phone for like 7 hours.
Oh,
yeah.
Or you
Yeah.
fall asleep on the phone.
And it's like you're talking white noise. It's like, oh my God,
I just want to hear you
I
breathe.
just want to hear you breathe. Let's listen to
you
this
hang
song.
up first. No,
Yeah.
you hang up. Let's
But
hear
it was nice because I will tell you this. I got the butterflies again. It became that like, I
nice.
am still young. Girl, I got it. But then I was like, oh, wait a minute. He hadn't even seen me yet. He only seen my profile picture. But within 24 hours, we're on the phone. He's a decent human being. Doesn't seem to have a record. He drives a
He's
car.
not like a murderer.
He has
like
a
a serial
job.
killer.
He
These-
drives a car.
The list is just check, 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 check. Less than a credit report. I was basically on the road to finding the love of my life, right? Who knew, right? So we get to a point where we do start dating, and right away he knew that I had a child. He doesn't have children.
Oh.
We're the same age, and I thought, well, this is an opportunity to at least just have fun. And our first date was a liquor game, like our first official date. And I thought, well, that can't be bad. I mean, well, the record, but that can't be bad. So it just developed from there. But here's where single mom, tiger mom, or bear mom, or whatever you want to call yourself, protect your young.
Mm-hmm.
She never met or was involved in any part of the relationship. And it was only on the terms of on the weekends I didn't have her or on the time that I was free, that's when we could date and or talk or call. And we had a little distance. We had a little bit of distance from where we lived from each other. So it almost worked out. And I got to know him very slowly and calmly and in a matter that it wasn't judgmental. But we went through a lot of different hurdles.
Like every relationship.
And it was a strong base to know that he was good enough after 6 months to meet my daughter. And that's when we started the process of getting her involved. But I always let him know, if this doesn't work, if she and you do not click, we cannot click. And every mother can deal with those kinds of decisions on their own. I think everyone has the opportunity to make what's best for them. But for me, I couldn't live a life knowing that my daughter would not be at home when she's at home.
Yeah.
And when you have step parents, when you have extended families, you want to empower your children to know that they're always loved because she's one of a kind. There will never be a duplicate, and I can assure you that. There will never be another genetic composition of her stature. Like, she's it.
Of course.
She's done. And she has a stepmom now. Her father remarried. She has stepsisters, and she has gone through a lot in her 5 years of adjustment. And what I have tried my best to do is, as I work, as I balance family, friends, boyfriend life, is to continue to try to keep her home life with me as secure and a sense of safety.
Mm-hmm.
Because whatever she experiences with her dad is unique to
their
them,
experience.
and I can't get involved in that. And that's one thing that I know is that out of respect to him and out of respect to her, I have to always show that whatever his decisions are in his own home are okay.
Okay.
And when
That's
she's in my
important.
home,
That is-
it's
that
okay.
That is
important.
important to say because you know how we are.
Right. You get judgmental. You do. And you know what?
And
It's
you're
not to
trying
say
to-
it hasn't
yeah.
gone through my mind,
Mm-hmm.
but I don't put it through my lips in front of my daughter. You got to put yourself on check. It's hard.
I can't
can
even
just
imagine. I know. Do you ever feel like you try to compensate? Do you feel like you have to work twice as hard because
yeah.
because your dad's not here, so I have to be better than I have to you compensate sometimes, or you let her get away with things because do you want to compensate emotionally?
When she was an infant, I didn't mesh well with mommy and me groups because a lot of the ones that I found in my area, or people that were going through what I was going through, were married couples, and not all Latino. So the mix of and some were biracial families, some were just European, or they would just have all different backgrounds. But there's something of a prejudice at times that you have to accept that's going to happen because your circumstance is different.
Yeah.
So I can't have daddy drop her off, or I couldn't do certain things that her friends were getting to do. And when we would have play dates or do anything, I felt inferior at times. And then at a point during that toddler age, I decided I just needed to make memories with her. I needed to make things really special of her. And I've been able to at least continue that in trying to blend the relationship between my boyfriend and her, because we've decided that we want to go the long haul. So to do that, they have to find a mutual respect and find a relationship that's not about dad and daughter, because they're not, he's not her father. And I think that's important to lay out, is realizing that he will be an influence in her life. He will find his place. But he can't take the place of anyone else. Just like the stepmom can't take the place of me, but she deserves respect. So picnics, or going to Disneyland, or reading books at night that are special to us, or we would always create campsites or do things that I know she will always think of as
Like
time
your
with
thing.
me and her.
Mm-hmm.
That was more important than being in a mommy and me group for me as a single mom. And because of the fluctuating schedule that I had with work, I had to make those things really important pop in her mind. Because she's not going to remember 2 months ago what she had for dinner.
Yeah.
But she will remember that we eat dinner together.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's nice. That's so important to know. Do you want to have more kids?
I have always been on the fence on that. You know, when V was born, I thought one and done, and it's okay. I'll accept that as, you know, my life. After I met my boyfriend, it became a situation where you start, and maybe this is what you guys experience with your significant other, because, you know, I didn't really have that same goal. It was more like, oops, you know,
Yeah.
like me. But with my relationship now, it's kind of like, you know, would you want to? And yeah, and not many. I don't need a tribe. But, you know, just to have that love.
No,
but
need a soccer team.
no, but there's no rush. And there's no rush because as long as I, you know, can physically produce, you know, a child, that will be in the cards. And
It's an
right
option.
now, it's an option. And what's important is the relationship between the three of us as we blend a family together. Because I think time is really important. I didn't grow up with that kind of experience. I grew up with stepbrothers and sisters that came abruptly in my life. And I realized if I would have just had a little more time, maybe I would have blended better. Maybe I wouldn't have repelled the situation and put my mom through a lot, you know, at the time that happened. But, you know, who's to say we're not going to make the same mistakes our parents did?
Yeah.
We just got to try a different thing and hope that it comes out different.
I know, and honestly, I think it's something that I just recently came, I guess, to terms with. Like, you don't really appreciate what your parents do until you have your own children.
Yes.
I think it's very important for us as moms to take into consideration because we try so much to be the perfect moms.
Yeah.
You try so hard for V, you know, but until she has her kids, she's gonna know, damn, my mom went through a lot for me. Like my mom worked, she was a single mom. Like that's when she's really gonna like weigh in her head and be like, oh my God, mom, like respect, you know?
Yeah.
Because I love my mom. I mean, she's my mom. I love her. But it wasn't until I had my kid that I was just like, my love for her just went up a notch, you know, and appreciation really, and how she gave up, because she was such a young mom. She wasn't a single mom. I mean, my parents went through a lot. It was like you gave up so much of you for us.
Right.
So single moms, man, just it's okay.
Single moms. And your children teach you the most.
And
They
let's kind of do something about a single moms day, like a universal single moms
Let's
day,
work
right?
on a logo. Like I said.
Let's work on a single moms logo.
Single mom logo. Or maybe a t-shirt line. And
No,
then we'll
it's
roll from
it's
there. No,
amazing.
a good thing.
It's amazing. It's just wow.
Melina, thank you for trusting us. We're
Please,
gonna
thank
take a
you
break.
for the time. Thank
No,
you so
thank
much.
you, of
Thank you
course.
for the michelada.
I got endless supply. Let's take a break. When we come back, we're gonna hear our tip or pick of the week. My sister's favorite. This week's Super Mama is brought to you by
I love micheladas.
ilovemicheladas.com.
I love micheladas.
Your one-stop shop for the best michelada mix ever.
Ever.
It's the easiest thing, you guys. All you have to do is open the bottle, pour it on your cup, like that, huh? Pour it on your cup. open your beer,
Glug, 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 glug.
and just drink it. It's that easy. No more limes, no more lemons, no more sauces and spices.
Mm-mm.
Nope.
None of that. Just come and get it.
Just the most delicious mix in a bottle. Don't forget to visit ilovemicheladas.com and plug in Super Mamás on the checkout page and receive your sweet discount.
Salud, ladies. Enjoy.
And we're back.
We're back.
And we need to fill up your michelada again.
I know. I'm already drinking
What
water.
is
What's
up?
wrong with me?
We should order assistant.
Assistant. Ding, ding, ding.
Send a text to somebody. I think there's some micheladas. So here comes our part where we have our tip or pick of the week. Who goes first?
I can go first.
Okay, what do you have, a tip or a pick?
I have a tip of the week.
You're slacking on your picks. You're in shopping? What's going
I'm
on?
not you know what? Like, I'm going through this funk right now with my daughters, and I'm just, my head, I don't have the head to shop.
Maybe you should go shopping and everything will get better.
Well, I've been shopping just things that I, usually just refilling things that I need. So I am shopping.
Okay. I just want to make sure you're okay.
I'm okay. I'm all right. I haven't lost it.
What's
But
your tip?
again, like, I think last week I was talking about, like, the rough stage that my daughter's going through, and, like, it's just keep getting fucking hard week by week, and I'm reading that book, and it's helping me a lot, within me and my husband.
Which book again?
The book of how to talk to your kids so they will listen, and how to listen so your kids would talk. I think that's how I actually
Something like that.
put it on Instagram already.
At _Super Mamás.
Yes. But it's helped me, like, just figure out or little studios falling apart. But actually, what I've been doing apart from reading the book, and I think it's helped me, it's that after, meal, like dinner time, it's extremely rough because she doesn't want to eat nothing. Like, she's just fighting for everything. And so there's a lot of crying, there's a lot of screaming, a lot of, like, there's so many tears during dinner time. So
from you or from your daughter?
From all of us.
She's crying inside.
I'm crying inside. So what I've been doing is, like, after dinner, I just say, fuck the dishes, and I grab my daughters and I go on a little walk. I just, around 6:37, the weather has, subside. Yeah, it's so hot, but it's a little bit cooler. So I've been taking them out, like, for a little walk around the block, and that actually seems to, like, totally calm her down. She goes back to, like, I think, like, that centers her, just being outside. And it's just, like, I think
being outside is so important.
Yeah, and actually it helped us, like, make a couple of friends in the neighborhood.
Good.
And so yeah, we take a little walk, and then I come back and she's ready. She's actually been willing to go in the shower after that. Because she sweats a little, she runs, and we play, like, race. She loves to race recently, so we race, and then that's it.
Awesome. So take your kids for walks so they can calm down and get centered.
Mm-hmm.
Any tips for single moms, Melly?
I do. I have a step parent tip.
Oh, okay.
Okay, a little advice. I make sure, now that my daughter has a stepmother, that she learns to respect her. And
that's so important.
I've never met her, but I know of her, and I know that the relationship with my daughter and her stepmom is abrupt and can take a little time to find their space where they can love and respect each other. So I think it's important for every mother or single mother that gets involved in this kind of situation to really step back and think about, before I react, before I say something negative, whether it be about their father or about their step-parent, that I recognize that their step-parent is going through something where they're accepting a child that's not theirs and trying to find a place to love them. And hopefully you can just say it inside and not project it in Instagram, or not project it on something that will live forever, and not say it in front of your kids, because that will give your child a great opportunity to cultivate a relationship with someone that they already have a connection with physically, but don't have it emotionally.
That's great.
That's my tip.
That's great.
That's really good. And think about, because I think one of my girlfriends told me that it's like you have 4 positive people in your life. You have your mom and your dad, and you have your stepmom and your stepdad, and it's all 4 positive people giving you all. It's so important because all 4 love you. All 4 are giving that child that much. They're getting just that much love.
Yep.
That's a great tip. Thanks, Melly. Well, I guess I'm the only one's gonna do like a shopping thing.
We don't shop.
Shopping.
So my pick, I have a pick. So for my baby shower, I got this little face cream for my baby. It's from the brand called Weleda. I don't know if I'm saying it right. Weleda. I don't know. It's Weleda. I don't know if it's Weleda or Weleda. That's the brand.
Abuelita. My abuelita.
My abuelita.
That's how
My
I would
abuelita.
say it.
Just remember that when you're at the store. Abuelita. Abuelita. Anyway, it's a calendula cream. And calendula is like a I don't know, some sort of flower, whatever.
Yeah. How does it smell?
It smells good.
Like calendula.
It smells like calendula.
Calendula.
You don't know what calendula smells like? Anyway, so I ran out of my night cream. So I was like, if it's good enough for my baby, I'm sure it's good enough for my face.
Right.
So it's a baby face cream. But let me tell you, I started using it at night, and I can see the difference on my face.
I was going to say, you have that infant glow. I just didn't want to bring it up, but now that you say that, now I know what it's from.
Well,
You're
it's
right. You look like a, como dicen, de pompa de bebé.
Yeah, that's a good one. Exactly. That's exactly it.
Tu piel parece de pompi de bebé.
I don't know if that's a good thing, because if you see my baby's bottom when he's like dirty,
Yeah.
You have an ass face.
Wouldn't that be nice compliment?
I know, right?
Oh my god, your face looks like a baby's ass. I think some women would appreciate that.
like,
Yeah.
thank you.
Thank you. Yeah.
Please don't go up to a stranger and say that. Oh my god, you have such a baby's ass face.
Yeah.
Oh, you mean okay, smooth,
It's
soft.
smooth,
Right,
soft.
right.
Yeah.
But I started using that cream under my eyes, and dude, I'm seeing a difference in my skin.
Yeah.
Wait, abuelita, what?
Abuelita.
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 Oh my god, that's you. Yes. So
The
that's
stock is gonna go up
Yeah.
right now. Things are about to blow up.
well, let us about to
Yeah.
come up with a new campaign.
Do you want your face to look like a baby's ass?
Like your abuelita's ass.
Your abuelita's ass?
Baby's ass.
It ain't abuelita's ass. It's more like a baby's ass.
Cara de pompi, cara de pompi.
We should really get into marketing, you guys. I think that this.
Hey, Abuelita, if you need a sponsor,
Right.
let us. If you want to sponsor a podcast, holla at your girl.
Right there.
Anyway, you guys go.
I'm the one with the baby face. Baby butt face.
But, oh my god! And on that note, thank you, Melina, for joining us.
Thank you, ladies. Always a pleasure. Love that we're all mommies.
I
We
know.
have so much to talk about when you're mommy, right? Like you
Yeah.
were saying earlier on our little chat before the recording how like when you're a mom, you're a part of a sorority.
Yeah,
I always
never
wanted
thought-
to be in
I
a
mean,
sorority.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right. You're Latina, so most of the sororities are only
should
in
we
certain
call it?
universities, but now it's happening. I like it.
Mamacita.
But anyway, Melina, thank you so much. You guys, please follow us on Instagram. Let us know your thoughts at supermamaspodcast.com. Like us on Facebook, please. Subscribe on
Instagram.
iTunes.
_
Yeah, just review us. Let us know how you
For
feel.
real. What's up with that?
Of course, good reviews. I ain't trying to get
no bad reviews.
And don't
And-
forget about our Super Mama hotline. You know,
A
you can call.
hotline?
Yeah, so you can call us
Girl, we're getting 1-900 on this.
for free too.
For
We're
free.
in charging you per minute. So you call this
Charges and
hotline
restrictions might apply.
424.
No.
I know, right? 424-326-37. I keep thinking about that baby sass. Sorry. 424-326-3707. Again, 424-326-3707.
Call
Call
us
us.
up. Tell me how you
If
feel
you just need
today.
to let it out,
Mhm.
complain about your baby. It's cool. We can complain about babies. You
Complain
don't-
about your husband. Complain
Yeah.
about your boyfriend.
Right.
Melina.
Well, no complaints. No
Oh, good
complaints.
for
Oh, no
you.
complaints. No
No
complaints.
complaints. Complain about your drunk babies.
Yes. Tell us your tips.
Tell us what you want to hear. Tell us how we're doing.
Tell us recipes, your regrets.
Tell us your tip of the week.
Yeah, just holla at your girls.
Holla.
We love you guys. Remember, supermamaspodcast.com. And we're checking out. Later, guys. We're
Thank
flying
you.
off.
Bye-bye.
Super
See you next
Mamas.